Hi guys, Crazy Teacher Nick here. Again, I'm just going to do a very short video on question 1A. Okay, I'm going to try and follow this up with a question 1B. I just wanted to show you some student examples. So I've taken the exam paper from October, November 2021. So this exam paper, 2 hours, 15 minutes. So remember, things you need to keep in mind. A, this is the reading paper. And as such, we're testing your ability to read a piece of text, okay, and to use the information in that text. One of the common problems I'm seeing with students is that they're being too creative. Okay, this is the reading paper. The idea is to show the examiner that you understand the text that is being presented to you. So we're specifically looking at that question 1. I'm going to put the link down at the bottom here to the actual paper so you can have a try at it yourself. Okay, if you've got questions, please pop your questions into the section down the bottom there, into the and ask questions. That way I know what kinds of questions or what types of things you're worried about. Okay, so the first thing you've got to make sure that you're doing, guys, is that you read the question carefully. That question is so vitally important. Okay, you've got to remember this text is comparative. Now, I've done a video on the comparisons, so you guys can go and check that video out. Okay. My focus here is just looking at 2 student examples, just to give you some ideas of what examiners are looking for when we mark these exams. So this question and that very, very specifically tells you that you've got to read the following text, okay, which is about a news report about 2 large fires, one in Paris and one in South America. Okay. The report is published on an Australian website, so you got your text type, your audience, your purpose here, okay? And the question 1A. You decide to write a letter to the French president about the issues raised in the news report. Use 150 to 200 words. Mistakes that I'm seeing here, guys, and specifically, this is why I want you guys to have a look at the exam paper. Remember, A, this is comparative. So for the news report that you're given, the original text that you're given, okay, the text type, it's a news report, okay. The audience, they tell you that it's going to be Australians, but remember that it's published on a news website that's going to affect the way the register of the text that is being presented. It's going to be informative, but there's probably going to be aspects, okay. When you read through the text, you might see it yourself. There might be aspects of it being almost persuasive. Many of my students found that. Okay, the text type you are being asked to write. So this is comparative. You need to create those effects. Now, the question identifies you're going to be writing about the issues raised. Remember, you're not being creative. The issues were originally raised in the news report. Use the information from the original text. Use your own words. Okay, so you write into the French president, and your text is probably, because you're talking about the issues raised, it's going to be discursive, argumentative. Okay, when you read the original text, you will notice that the original text presents you with a almost informative but persuasive set of ideas, and you're trying to persuade the French president, give me some of your cash, we want to use it to save the rainforest. So let's go and have a look at a set of students' work. Okay, so guys, although this is a real life student's work, in that it's got mistakes, students are going to make mistakes, and mistakes are okay. We learn from our mistakes, and that's what I'm hoping to do here. So, for example, one of the very first things that we need to look at is, dear Mr. President, there's no comma. It's a small little thing. Examiners are going to go, where is the comma? Okay. The introduction, I quite like this introduction. Okay. it kind of makes sure that the examiner knows that you know what basically the text, the original text was about. So please make sure you read this text before you have a look at this. Okay, so nice introduction, good use of some punctuation there, using that colon. I quite like that. Okay, the single line sentence, okay, which is a rhetorical question. I like that. Here the student has used the phrase 20% of our planet's oxygen. Okay, again, guys, be very, very careful. You want to make sure that comes directly from the text. Okay, although they've changed this 1.5 soccer fields, the 20% is direct from the text. So you want to say more than 19%. There is a very easy way to get around it. Or most of the most of the indigenous tribes, okay, or almost all the indigenous tribes, you must be using your own words. You don't have to change the ideas, but you want to change it into your own words. Show the examiner that you know what the text is about, but in your own words. I like the use of the repetition here. Again, student probably use that to explain that they're using it for persuasive effect. Okay, so it's done very, very nicely, almost a naphra. Okay, and then we've got this really nice kind of call to action. We cannot let our planet's lungs slip away. Okay, it's a call to action. It's a nice closing. Okay, I'm quite happy with it. The student has stuck to many of the conventions of the letter here, and that closing of yours sincerely, safest way to end the letter. Okay. Let's go and have a look at another student. So this student decided to actually include an address and a date. Now, you can do that as well, and examiners do like it, but it doesn't actually add any marks to your text. In fact, it's probably taking away some of the time thinking about it. But if you've got a one Wallaby way, if you've got a basic address that you always use, fine, go ahead with it. It's window dressing, just as it is absolutely fine. Okay, examiners and that are not going to mind. They're going to quite like it. Okay, so here's a bit of a zoom in of the text. Okay, we've got that salutation, dear Mr. President. We've got the comma. We're happy about that. Okay, good introduction, shows the examiner I have a good understanding of the text. They've made it clear what they want to write about. Okay, I wasn't so happy too much about the tone, okay, but because I want that tone to be maybe more professional, that I am terribly sorry, but it again creates that personal exchange, okay, and I like the use of the connective however, okay, that connective really, really nice, makes it clear what you are writing about, so I'm quite happy about that. Again, okay, I've got to discuss the using your own ideas, okay? So just under 3 million species of insects, over 2 million species of insects, so that you're not using the exact words that come from the text. Try and change those things just a little bit. Doesn't take that much, okay? But you're not creating your own things, okay? Student here has used a connective, the however. The entire internet blew up. It's a bit of a counter argument. I quite liked it. Moreover, those connectives, examiners love them. Okay, it's helping the paragraphs to transition from one to the other. Okay, the tone, again, to me was quite formal, which is what we wanted. Okay. They had the use of the short sentences at the bottom over here. Where's my little mouse? Okay, that again, nice techniques. They're going to discuss this in comparison to the original text. Okay, and these short sentences are nice. It needs your help. It's like a call to action. The student has ended this text with respectfully. Now, that is not a normal way that you would end a letter. Yours sincerely would be fine. But I quite liked the respectfully. I thought that basically it gave it a changed the tone and made it respectful. So I was quite happy about that. Okay, so this is kind of what you are marked on. Okay, now I know the marks that are allocated for these students. Okay, and I felt that basically in both texts, okay, that they had a clear understanding of the text and there were clear references to characteristic features. Okay, so I went up to detailed understanding of the text, and again, I was pretty confident with both of those. Effective a reference to characteristic features. They did a bit of a cut and a paste, so I'm going to basically allocate a 3 out of 5. Okay, for assessment objective 1, and for assessment objective 2, okay, we're normally going to start here because we know that we're already on this level 3, a clear expression with occasional errors which do not impede communication. Definitely better than that. Content is relevant to the audience, the purpose, the ideas are developed clearly. Happy to agree with that, so I move up. Effective expression, few minor errors, do not impede communication. I agree. Content is relevant to the audience, the purpose, ideas are developed in an effective way. Very happy with that. So I'm going with a 4 out of 5 here so far. Sophisticated expression with a high level of accuracy. One or two issues in that, so I'm not exactly happy with that at the moment. Content is fully relevant to the audience. Ideas are developed throughout in a sophisticated way. I'm not inclined to indicate that either of the two texts were sophisticated. Okay, so for this text, for both of those texts, I probably would have given a 7 out of 10. Okay, so hopefully this quick little video has given you some ideas. Guys, please like, subscribe, ask questions, because your questions are going to help me to know what you need to know. So peace out, study hard, make sure you're studying your key conventions, your structural devices, your language devices, and you're going to be awesome. Happy exam season, guys. Exams are on their way.